firm reality and will never happen to us. But that's what 580,000 people from here in the US also once believed. By definition, homelessness is a situation where someone does not have a safe, permanent, or adequate housing. So this led me and my team to the question, what is the best way to alleviate the causes of homelessness? This issue is significantly global, as homelessness is present all around the world in every nation. There is 1.6 billion people in the world that lack adequate housing, and more than 150 million that do not have a house at all. Locally, this is significant, as just recently the City of Miami commissioners passed a law that made homelessness encampments illegal, even though housing prices have been rapidly increasing. So my team and I have divided this into 3 lenses: educational, psychological, and 9 economic. First, in the educational aspect, it was stated that 40% of all homeless individuals in the US are younger than 18 years old. And a study by Canada found that high school dropouts are 4.5 times more likely to become homeless at one point in their lives. Next, in the psychological aspect, we can take Eleanor's story, for example. Her dad was disabled in war, became an alcoholic. Her mother worked long hours and couldn't take care of her. Her brother was in a coma, and she had to live alone in a shed for a long time. Eventually, she became homeless. And even though St. Luca's organization helped her overcome her situation, this devastating situation happens to a lot of people worldwide. And lastly, on my lens, the economic, we can start off in the USA. In the USA, found by a survey, they stated that the top 3 reasons for homelessness were addiction, mental health, and job loss. They also stated that when someone pays more than 30% of their income on their rent, they have a higher chance of becoming homeless. Homelessness can happen to anyone. We can take Malia's story, for example, to see this. 3 of her family members died unexpectedly in an accident. She lost her home, and even though she had good grades, she eventually became homeless when she was older. We can see this also by a study found in LA, where they surveyed homeless people, and they said that 46% claimed that the reason for being homeless was because of economic reasons. Next, we can go to Africa, more specifically in Ghana. Out of their population of 14 million, 5.5 million live in the slums. And it is said that 10 to 20 people can live in the same room or in the same house due to lack of adequate housing. Similarly, in Mali, they also face a large homeless issue, as their poverty rate is 42% and 80% of Malians do not have access to adequate housing. And lastly, in Asia, more specifically in China, 2 million of the population are homeless, mostly due to the fact of natural disasters, immigrants, and discrimination. We can take the Yunnan earthquake, for example. In the 2000s, 92,000 people became homeless overnight. And in immigration, people from other countries and from rural areas of China, they moved to highly populated cities, and they're met with very high pricing of housing and very low income. So this can lead them to a life of homelessness, especially if they are old and have mental illnesses. In the Philippines, the 4 main reasons are low wages, unemployment, domestic violence, and also natural disasters. Even though Philippines has a low unemployment rate of 5%, this is not equal to the amount of homeless people, as 60% of all the population, their income is below the poverty line, so they cannot all afford housing. So here's what we can do to solve this issue. One global solution is the International Rescue Committee. They aim to help countries in Africa like Afghanistan, Yemen, Syria, and Ethiopia by providing them with supplies and help these people overcome homelessness and poverty. Next, we have the Homeless World Cup Foundation, more specifically in Mali, where they help homeless people that have dealt with drug abuse, imprisonment, and victims of domestic violence. And they help them build soccer community build programs in order for them to get a source of income and to put more of their attention into these activities. Locally, we have the Lord's Place in Miami. In the Lord's Place, they take in homeless people and they hope to transform them into becoming independent members of society. In 2012, they had a success rate of 85%, where these people became independent members of society and had well-paying jobs. Lastly, we have the Miami tax. In Miami, we have one of the lowest homeless ratio in the US, and partly it is due to the 1% sales tax. 85%